While movies can be memorable for numerous reasons, many critically acclaimed films can at least partially attribute their success to their most quotable lines.
Trench. Sylvia Trench. I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
While the movie Dr. No may not be as widely loved and known as some of the other films on this list, the quote Bond, James Bond, is one of the most recognized movie quotes there is. Released in 1962, Dr. No follows James Bond on the murder of John Strangways, the station chief of M16 in Jamaica. While sitting at a barricade table with Sylvia Trench, she introduces herself as Trench, Sylvia Trench, to which James Bond mimics and responds with the well-known Bond, James Bond. This scene sets the standard for dramatic and impressive moments throughout the James Bond series, displaying his cold, natural way of speaking and dramatic moments. You may even hear this scene quoted or mimicked by a younger audience, really displaying its influence and fame. Sean Connery plays this moment beautifully, and the scene clearly resonated with its viewers, considering how widely known this quote still is, even after 6 decades.
Hey Doc, you better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
After the release of the massive hit that was Back to the Future, a sequel was highly anticipated, and even with all the stress and expectations to live up to, the movie more than delivered, providing entertaining and high-spirited adventure through time. Even though the dialogue throughout the trilogy is relatively lighthearted and silly, the script could still produce lines too good to ever be forgotten, such as, "Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads," end quote. It builds and furthers the excitement of the audience and adds on to the feeling of needing to know what their version of the future will look like. While the Back to the Future trilogy isn't perfect, it is still a really fun time for the family, even decades after its initial release in 1989.
E.T. phone home? E.T. phone home.
Originally released in 1982, E.T. the Extraterrestrial is possibly the most nostalgic film ever for adults today. Everyone remembers E.T. and his earthly friend Elliot, and the scene where E.T. is sitting in the basket on Elliot's bike. With a very memorable movie came an even more memorable quote, E.T. phone home. A line of dialogue so well received that it was worked into many E.T. toys, trinkets, clothes, and other merchandise. A scene that so many people can recall today, even some that have never seen the movie. It's just that good. Of course, the film itself is not short of great quotes. This one stands out among the rest and really brings this movie into the light. But this film hasn't only been seen by the audience it was originally released to. Parents have shown their kids one of the most memorable movies from their childhood, which has only increased the amount of people that recall this moment fondly.
I'm the king of the world!
Based on the 1912 tragedy of the Titanic sinking, the 1997 movie Titanic follows the original events of the incident, while also involving romance between Leonardo DiCaprio's and Kate Winslet's characters in the film. One of, if not the most well-received and known movies across all of America, Titanic is not short of amazing quotes and breathtaking scenes. Possibly the most popular among these is DiCaprio's "I'm the King of the World" scene. His portrayal of Jack Dawson in the film could not have been more perfect. DiCaprio plays his character almost perfectly, and this scene is wildly remembered among fans, and even people who aren't very fond of the film. While Titanic is one of the most well-known movies, and the quote is very memorable among its audience, it's not quite number one.
He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
I am your father, arguably one of the most consistently used lines in all of sci-fi, possibly even cinema. Even though the exact wording of the crow has been debated similar to the Berenstain Bears, it is still one of the most recognizable string of words ever spoken. Whether you love the Star Wars universe, hate it, or couldn't possibly care less, everybody can at least respect how much of a game changer that line was for the story in its entirety. Over the course of years, people were anxiously waiting for the next piece of story for Star Wars, and even George Lucas gave more than anybody could have ever expected. Darth Vader, one of the main antagonists, being the father of the story's main protagonist. While most stories are no strangers to twists, this one will go down in history as one of the greats. Movie quotes are undeniably very memorable things that can change the movie's status as forgettable to unforgettable in seconds, with a simple formula consisting of just a few words and a good delivery. While some of the quotes were planned to be successful and some just organically rose to fame, it's our hope that we can still look back at all these quotes with an even more of an informed perspective.